My name is Mark Liprini and I'm a full-time pilot with Mission Aviation Fellowship International. I came up to Kenya a few weeks ago to assist with their flight program. I do this quite often, 6 weeks at a time. And while I was up here, the whole troubles in South Sudan took place. So I was deployed up to Lokachogia, and for the past about 3.5 weeks I've been assisting with the evacuations and the other flying in and out of South Sudan as we've been helping our partners in this troubled time. The first part of our flying in the South Sudan relief flying, if you want to call it that, we spent a lot of time evacuating people who needed to get out of the country, and one could sense as we were evacuating people that they were pretty stressed and they'd been through a really tough time. And then we seemed to change gear and we moved more into a phase of supporting our partners who were still in South Sudan. So I ended up flying people between various villages, which had not happened originally. Originally we were just pulling people out of the country. And then we started moving supplies and support stuff into the country. I think for me one of the highlights was in my last week I was flying there, where we had this 2-day project for Tier Fund, I think it was. And we had to move, it's like a baby cereal or infant food, and we had to move it up to a place called Matot, which is only an hour and a half away from Juba, but the roads that exist are pretty much non-existent. And I really enjoyed that, because for me it was like a tangible way I was helping. Yes, I could count the people I flew out and the people I moved, but to see us move 4 tons of food for children that I knew were going to go hungry if they didn't have it, and I heard afterwards that the clinic was actually in pretty short supplies as well. That to me was a real highlight, because I could watch the boxes being loaded on the aircraft, I could watch them be loaded off again, and the people on the ground were really grateful. They mentioned to me a few times, we're so glad we could do this. And that for me was a very, very fulfilling thing to have done. The weather really played a role as well, and the Lord blessed us with some really good hot sunny days. So the airstrip was hard, we were able to get in, and we were able to fly straight lines without having to dodge around weather. On Friday night when I went to bed, I just watched the news and I realized that things weren't happening in Juba, and fighting was starting to happen. And on the Saturday morning when I woke up and I was having my breakfast and doing my devotions and reading the news, and I just saw that things had gone from bad to worse overnight, and it just wasn't a happy situation. And as I was reading my devotions, a completely unrelated scripture came to mind. It was that scripture from Esther chapter 4, where Mordecai is talking to Queen Esther, and he's challenging her about her royal position that she had to be used to save the Jewish people who are under threat. And that verse that he says to her, "And who knows but that you've come to your royal position for such a time as this." And that's Esther chapter 4 verse 14. And it was that last part of the verse that just stuck in my mind that whole morning, for such a time as this. And I'm certainly not in royal position, but I really believe the Lord was saying to me, I've brought you here, I've positioned you here for this time. And that was a great encouragement to me over the weeks, as I flew quite a lot and we moved around quite a lot, that the Lord was saying, I've brought you here for this time to serve me in this situation. For me, being here in South Sudan at this critical time, I believe this was of the Lord and the timing was right for this. And I feel that I fulfilled the role that I have in MAF, that I'm able to do this. I enjoy doing it, I'm inspired by it, and it was good to be here.